Color changes. Boom, 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 boom. Fascinating. Take two cards, put them back to back, hold them at the corners, and shake. Voila! You are a magician. Or maybe not. You still need a wand. As long as you have a wand, you can always make magic happen, right? If you like cards, then learning some color changes will make your life more fun. I can just sit here and fool myself with this color change all day. According to this book from 1885, color changes take precedence, forbear face the daring of perhaps any other. Ah, don't you just love how they used to talk back in the days? Blissful. Color changes consist in deliberately exchanging a card held in one hand for another in the pack held in the other hand, and this in full view of the audience. Some changes are even more interesting when you see the secret behind them. You see, even though you know what's happening, it's still amazing how fast the cards switch. So I scoured the internet and checked out every YouTube tutorial on color changes, from Alex Pandrea's weirdest color change to Daniel Roy's 10 levels of sleight of hand, to make sure that I would put together for you guys all new material. So grab your favorite deck and let's start learning. Welcome to the 7 levels of color changes. Explain. Explain, yes.
It brings a day.
The first change that we're going to learn from the 7 levels of color changes is what I like to call the push-drop change. And it looks like this. We're just going to take a card, we're going to push it above the king, and you're going to notice that it's going to change it into another card. We can do it again with the 9. Watch, 1, 2, and then at 3, it's just going to change it into the king once more. And it's basically just getting 2 cards as one, placing it on the lower side, gripping it with your thumb, index and middle finger, going forward, and then whenever you want, you're just gonna release both cards and using these 2 fingers to pull the card back. As long as you're gonna keep hold of those 2 cards and come forward, you just have to move your thumb from over here and just use your index and middle finger to pull the top card back. And that is it. That's basically it for the push drop change. If you're not very familiar with grabbing 2 cards as one, all you need to do is just get your thumb, pull up on the top card and get another card from here. Magicians use a lot of techniques to get a pinky break beneath the second card. You can use your pinky from over here, you can use your thumb from over here. As long as you get those 2 cards as one, you move them over here, you drop them, you hold them here, you pull up a bit, and you go 1, and then at 2, you're gonna drop the card and pull back this one. Now obviously, you don't wanna make it that obvious, you don't wanna bend it that much, just bend it a little bit, so that when you do drop the card, it doesn't look as obvious that you dropped the 2 cards. And that's it for the first color change of the series. The second color change from the 7 levels of color changes is one that is very fun to me, and it needs to be performed forward. I mean, to the person in front of you. Maybe forward wasn't the best choice of words. And it's so simple. This is what I love about it. It's just so simple. All you have to do is get 2 cards back to back, and then you're just gonna reverse the card. But for the person in front of you, it looks like the card changes in an instant. So you flip a card face up, and in the motion of flipping a card face up, you're gonna push 2 cards and get a pinky break beneath the second one. You turn this one card face up, and now you're gonna have 2 cards back to back. You come with your right hand and you insert your middle and index finger right over here, and then your thumb at the corner. And now you're just gonna flick this card by turning your wrist towards yourself, and this way, for the spectator, it will look as if the queen was taken sort of like this in a way. You know, you're just taking it and moving it forward, but in reality, the card has changed. Nobody will notice that your fingers started there and then ended right here on the left side. So don't worry about that. all you need to do is just get that visual impact. So you come from over here and you flick it forward just like that. Boom, just like that. See, with a turn of the wrist. And that, guys, is called the bling change. And it was, I humbly say, created by me. The third color change in the 7 levels of color changes is a color change that I learned from Kevin Ho, but I found out that it was actually created by Ed Marlowe, and it looks like this. You take a card and you're just gonna flick it over here and the card instantly changes. It's a very beautiful color change, as you can see, very visually striking. And this is why I wanted to teach it to you guys, because I didn't see a lot of places teaching it, and it's a move that should really be used by people. Notice that it's always the card on top that is being changed into, because what happens in slow motion is our fingers from the right side are going to grip the card on top, and we're basically just going to use that to flip the entire packet face down. So let's go over it. We're going to spread the deck, break it at a point over here. Let's get the queen instead. We're going to square this packet up, and then from underneath, we're gonna use our middle and ring finger, and I'm gonna show you without the spread. We're gonna use our middle and ring finger to go underneath the spread. We're gonna have these cards over, so imagine there are cards over here. And then we're basically just gonna flick this packet over. And the way that we do this is by letting go of the grip that we have with the thumb. This will allow the packet to start going down. But at the same time, we're actually going to move our grip on the last card. And this is something that happens naturally due to the fact that the card from underneath is actually being moved slightly to the right. So as long as you position your thumb to the right side of the deck, it's going to grip that one card. So all you need to get used to is to be able to flip this deck. So just do a couple of practices like this where you're just flipping the deck. Don't really need to think about if you're doing it correctly or not. Just get used to the idea of flipping the packet over. And then you're gonna bring the packet with the spread, and you're gonna do the exact same motion. You grip and you go up. Up. You grip and you go up, just like this. And in order to make it a bit more clear that it was the 8 that was being changed, you're gonna move the packet forward. Now you're going to insert your fingers underneath, and then you're going to do the change. And this way you're going to be in great position to just have that card out jogged. And that's it, guys, for this color change. I always check to see if the first two cards are contrasting, so that there's a nice change between the two of them. The fourth color change in the 7 levels of color changes is a variation of mine on the ERDNASE change. Now the classic ERDNASE change looks like this. You're just gonna, well, I don't have any sweat on my palm, so it's a bit more difficult. It looks like this. You're just gonna use your pinky, you kick forward that card, and then it changes. I'm getting a little bit of sweat now, just like that. Start from here, and then the card is being contacted, instantly move to the top, instantly moved forward, and then you're gonna have access to the bottom card. This is a change that you can learn in so many tutorials on YouTube. But the way that I do it is by moving the card instantly in this way, so that I don't actually have to do anything to the card. It always stays in the same position. And this is based on a Juan Tamariz move. Notice, I'm just moving the card over here. I am covering it with my hand, and then I can have access to the card instantly, and I can just change the card, just like that. So what happens is I grip the card as a double, and then as I turn it, I'm gonna use my thumb to kick back that card. Now, the moment that I have that card kicked back, I'm gonna move my hand over the 8 and expose it through my fingers, just like this. Once I have this, I'm gonna get my pinky underneath the card and contact it with my nail. This is gonna allow me to contact the card and slide it out, because it's sliding on the smooth surface of the nail. So I push that over there, and then I use the base of my thumb to contact the card, and get it out from over there. Now, if you're like me and you don't get a lot of sweat instantly, it's a bit dry in here in the room, then either blow heat on it, or what you can do if you're not in the situation where you can just blow on your palm, is to move the card a little bit to the right so that you can use your pinky to contact this corner of the card and instantly palm it in classic palm. And then you can drop it on top and make the color change. This is a bit more of an advanced move, as you can notice, because it involves, doing all of this. But whenever I show it to a magician, it just adds a variation, another layer to the ERDNASE change that everybody knows. But this variation isn't something that you'll see a lot of magicians teach because they don't know about it. So now you guys know about it and you can practice it and learn it. Like I said, kick back, nail underneath, move the card, you can palm it. And if you have sticky hands, you won't need to palm it. It will just slide out. And then once it's slid out, it still stays there. You can just come on top and drop it over there. And there you have it, guys. That's it for this color change. For this color change, you're gonna perform under the disguise of checking your watch. So you're gonna twist your arm, you're gonna look at the watch, and then the card changes. And together with a body movement, as you're showing this, and then you're turning your hand in order to check at the clock, nobody's actually going to notice that what you're doing is this, moving the card from the top to the bottom. Just like that. See? It's much easier if you have two cards turned face up, as they are actually, bent the other way. I usually used to practice this with the cards face up, but because they're all in the same way, you might actually get 2 or 3 sometimes. So let me show you guys how it's actually done. You get a double lift on the top of the deck, and then I advise you to get a pinky break underneath the top card. You can do that by just picking up on the card and then riffling from the top as well, riffling from the bottom, and you get that nice pinky break underneath the top card. From this position, you're going to get used to doing this. You take your thumb and you apply pressure on the top card, and then you're gonna move it towards the left. You keep going until you slide it underneath, and from this position, you're gonna relax the base of your thumb and start trying to flip the deck over. And in that motion, you're gonna be able to place the card underneath and then square it up. So we have here, we go, we ease it over here, we go with the thumb underneath the deck, and then we let it go. And all of this happens as you turn the hand. So you get your pinky break, you turn the hand, you wait a little bit because you don't want the spectator to notice this. You come with your right hand, and by the time that you're actually covering the card right over here, you can start pulling on the 6 and moving it there. And then you're gonna look at your watch and the card has actually changed. So we're over here, we get that pinky break. We start going with our right hand over the deck. Then I use my thumb to pull on the card, move it, look at the watch, and the card has actually changed. If you don't have a watch, don't worry about it. You can just say, this is not your card? No? Well, it usually does take a couple of seconds for the card to come here. Yeah, there we go. The card has arrived. So you can use an excuse like that, where you're just checking the watch in a sense. So as long as you get that flourish down, you can definitely, cover it in a nice way with the body movement and with the finger movement, and you're gonna have a really neat color change. Good. Now the following color change might look like something that will be difficult to execute, but as long as you know how to do a spring, you're gonna be able to execute this color change. Because everything that happens is just you move the card towards the left side and then you pick it up with your spring. So you have the card over here. This card is going to be moved to the left side because of the force from the spring, and then you're gonna have all of these cards in your left hand, and you're gonna pick that card up inside of the spring. I'm gonna try and do it a bit side jog. Notice how the card moves, and then I can just pick it up with the cards. Now all of that will happen with the card being over here, and then you're going to be able to square up all of those cards. Obviously you're going to have a face-up card in the deck, but if you're just performing for social media or just want to show a nice idea to somebody, then it's going to be completely enough. The first prerequisite of this is being able to do a thumb spring, and I know it's not something that everybody can do, but I wanted to include something in here that might challenge you to go with your sleight of hand a step further. So, see, you spring the cards onto the card. That is going to move to the left. Well, when you're going to do it here, it's going to move in the spring, and then you're going to pick it up. So let's do it at a better speed now. We're over here. Notice that when I spring the cards, I don't spring them from the right side because I don't want to cover the cards completely. What I want to do is to spring right over here on the left half of the card. So I want the cards to just hit that left side, move the card so I can instantly pick it up. I think I hit the camera right now, so that's why I stopped. This overhead tripod is really into my business right here. So just move it towards the left. This is something that will happen from now and then. Don't worry about it. Just place it back down and do it again. Come over there and then you pick it up. So I'm going to do this a couple of times with you. This is one of those much more challenging color changes that from now and then I might forget as well the things that can happen during it. So the way that I make sure that I don't pick up both cards at the same time. And that is it, guys, for the spring color change as part of the 7 levels of color changes. This color change is actually a variation of the Cardini change, and the variation has been created by Daniel Garcia. And not a lot of people are actually performing this variation. And I feel like more and more people are forgetting the ego change. That's what I don't like. I think it might also be possibly due to the modified grip, but what I do like about this is that there is no second movement. I mean, when you're doing a Cardini, you make the card change and then you have to grip and you have to turn the deck around. Now, if you're not doing it like that and you're doing it like this, there's just a lot of movement happening, you know? But for the ego change, you turn the card changes and you're instantly done. It just feels so swift and nice. So I wanted to include Daniel Garcia's change here so it doesn't disappear in the sands of time and more people start using it. And if you do already know it, then you start using it again. So we're gonna get 2 cards and we're gonna move our index finger to the right side so that we clip the deck in this position. And in an exposed view, what you're doing is you're using the rest of your fingers to pull on the top card, drag it to the right, extend with your thumb and index finger the packet to the left. Notice how I'm flexing my finger inwards and I'm bending my thumb outwards so that the card can fall underneath of the deck. And at full speed, it will look something like that. So when you have your hand underneath, you're gonna go and then it instantly goes underneath. You're here, the card changes, and you're done, just like that. There's not much more to it than that. If you already know the Cardini change, then doing this will be much easier for you. If you don't already know the Cardini change and would like to learn that, there's so many sources on YouTube or anywhere else on the internet that you can pick up this color change. But I really wanted to show you the ego change by Daniel Garcia because it's just nice. It's so nice, you know? And it will evolve your sleight of hand capabilities in a much more different way than the Cardini change. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. All I'm saying is that variety sometimes just makes life more blissful. So there you go, guys. That's the ego change. Make sure that you practice. You pull the card down. Sometimes if you pull it to the right, only to the right, it will clip onto your index finger. So you pull the card down, you pull it to the right, This all happens in one motion, and then you're gonna put it underneath. So, and then underneath, you know? And just do this, just practice this until you can do that. You will need to apply some pressure because you're really holding onto the deck. And if you don't apply pressure with your fingers, then the cards are just gonna move weirdly, you know, just gonna go like that. So you really need to keep that deck firm and steady so that you can apply pressure with your fingers and pull that card towards the right side. This is a sleight for strong men and strong women. And you are strong as well, so do not underestimate what you can do. We have the 4 and boom, it changes into the 2, just like that. The Ego Change by Daniel Garcia. And that is going to be the last of the 7 levels of color changes explained. That was it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're here at Big Blind Media. We're very happy that you decided to watch this video until here. It's a monstrous video. And I hope you guys learned some new stuff. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Not a lot of people drop comments. I barely comment on videos, you know, so it's kind of hypocritical to ask other people to comment. But hey, it's beneficial for the algorithm. That's what I'm saying. Drop us a like, subscribe.